Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know my videos over the past few weeks have been more along the lines of personal vlogs and bookish type things, so today we are going to return to our regularly scheduled programming with a writing related video. Today we're going to talk about 8 mistakes that newbie writers make when they're first starting out, and many of these are mistakes that I also made when I first started writing. Also, make sure to stay tuned at the end of this video for some exciting announcements. Okay, are we ready? Let's get started. The first mistake that newbie writers make is failing to outline. I know all the pantsers out there are probably rolling their eyes right now, but outlining and planning ahead are 2 critical things that newbie writers need to consider. As a newbie writer, you probably have a million ideas floating throughout your mind, and it can be extremely difficult to translate those ideas and thoughts into a coherent, well-versed story. This is where outlining comes in handy. Even if it's a sparse outline with just the beginning, middle, and end, at least you know where to start, what the midway point is, and how your book is going to end. As you get more comfortable with writing, you may end up not even needing an outline, and you can just pants your way through your story. But for beginners, I highly recommend planning out your book chapter by chapter in a detailed outline. The second mistake newbie writers make is being indecisive on point of view. There are 4 major points of view: first person, I; second person, you; third person, Joey; and omniscient, which is the author's point of view. And sometimes this is used for setting scenes, but it can keep readers from getting into your story. For newbie writers, third person point of view will probably be the easiest and least confusing to use for fiction stories. First person is another point of view that is commonly used. However, it can be more difficult to write because it requires keeping the tenses straight throughout your entire story. My first series, The Alpha Drive, is written in third person point of view, while my new dark fantasy series is written in first person point of view. I started out with third person point of view for the Alpha Drive trilogy because it fit that story and the message I was trying to convey. Whereas first person point of view fits my dark fantasy series really well, and it truly draws the reader into the story. Ultimately, the point of view that you decide to write in kind of depends on the genre of your book and what you prefer, and also how you think your story will best be represented. Quick tip: once you choose your point of view, do not change it. Trust me, it is such a pain to get halfway through your novel and decide that you suddenly want to switch your point of view from first person to third person. Because the tenses are completely different, you'll have to comb through your manuscript line by line and edit 95% of the sentences. There is no quick fix to do this in Word or in any other writing program that I know of, so make the point of view decision up front and stick with it. You will save yourself a lot of headache in the end. The third mistake newbie writers make is telling and not showing. The art of writing lies in a writer's ability to show their readers the world and people that they've created. Anyone can tell you about Joey taking his boat out on the ocean in the middle of a summer day, but it takes a writer to put you inside of Joey's mind, feeling the stickiness of the humidity in the air, the smell of salt and seaweed, the summer sun beating down in his already bronzed skin, his shoulders tingling from the mix of sunscreen and heat. Did you picture that? When you tell, your readers actually distance themselves from your story, whereas showing draws them in close. There is a delicate balance here, so you need to choose what information can be told and what information should be shown. If you find yourself providing large chunks of explanation, then you are telling and not showing. If your story is weighed down with too much telling, then find a way to turn those explanations and that information into scenes and decide which characters will portray what you're trying to get across. Showing keeps the readers engaged. Telling pushes them away. The fourth mistake newbie writers make is poor use of dialogue. We've all read it. The clumsy dialogue that sounds unnatural and the multitude of characters that all sound exactly the same. You can't tell them apart. As a newbie writer, it's important to remember that dialogue should be used to convey important information and enhance your characters. Ultimately, you want your dialogue to show your readers something extra, whether it's a window to your characters' souls, to heighten tension, or to reveal a twist in the plot. Your dialogue should also show and not tell. Here's an example of dialogue that tells. "You can't be serious," she said in astonishment. And here's an example of that same dialogue that shows. "She dropped her spoon, eyes wide. You have to be kidding me." Can you hear the difference? The fifth mistake newbie writers make is lack of editing. If you think that once you finish your first draft, all you have to do is scan through it real quick and proofread for spelling errors and typos, I hate to break it to you, but you are sorely mistaken. Editing is a critical step in the writing journey, and it's a lot more detailed and complex than just scanning your work for errors and typos. It's best to prepare yourself for the possibility of cutting entire chunks of text, removing whole chapters, writing new scenes, and completely rewriting old ones. Here's some advice. When you think that your story is the absolute best that you can make it, put it aside and leave it for as long as possible, for a minimum of 2 weeks. The longer, the better. Then come back after those 2 weeks or more and read it out loud. Your errors will literally leap off the page, and it will make the editing process so much easier and clearer. Sometimes we're so close to our work that we can't see those errors right away, so take some time, put it aside, and then come back to it, and it'll be a whole lot easier. The sixth mistake newbie writers make is repetition. During our writing journeys, it's common for writers to develop pet phrases or pet sayings, which are little terms or quirks associated with certain settings or characters that are repeated many, many times throughout your manuscript. This unnecessary repetition can be found within sentences, paragraphs, pages, chapters, the overall book, really. Chances are you won't even realize that you've done this, which is why editing is so important. Repetition should be used to place emphasis on certain things. Just be careful you don't overdo it. The seventh mistake newbie writers make is not checking for plot holes. Your plot is the underlying basis of your book. Without it, you have no story, and no story means no book. The concept of a plot hole is relatively broad. It can encompass everything from the slow start, a sagging middle section, uneven pacing, unreliable details, and using gimmicks as hooks. When it comes to plots, especially complicated ones, planning or using some sort of timeline can help you find those holes before you even put pen to paper, or in most cases nowadays, fingers to keyboard. If you're a pantser and not a fan of outlines, then try this instead. Write your entire story, then plot out major events in bullet point format after you finish your manuscript. This will give you an eagle's eye overview of everything you've written so that you can sense check your work and make sure you didn't miss anything critical to the development of the plot. The eighth mistake newbie writers make is being impatient and expecting miracles. Coming up with story ideas for your book takes time. Writing that book takes time. Editing takes time. The whole writing journey takes time. So don't be impatient with yourself or your work. Being impatient means that your work is at higher risk for error. And trust me, you do not want to release something into the world, especially your book baby, your pride and joy, if it's riddled with errors. Strive to put your best work out there and understand that it could take months, even years to get there. Be patient with yourself. In addition, don't expect to become a bestseller overnight. Hell, selling even 100 books your first year is going to seem like an insurmountable task at one point or another. You've put in the work to write the book, and now you'll have to put in even more work to market it to get it to the right audience. Again, this will take time and it will not happen overnight. Don't expect to release your book and then the next day wake up to find that you've sold 1,000 copies. If this happens for you, then that's amazing and we need to talk. But most likely it won't. And that's okay. We all have different journeys. So set realistic expectations for yourself and continue to work hard just like you've been doing all along. You'll get to where you want to be eventually. It just takes time. So there you have it, 8 common mistakes that newbie and even seasoned writers make. I hope you enjoyed the content today. If you did, please thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. My debut novel, The Alpha Drive, is available for purchase on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, The Book Depository, and Books A Million. The sequel, The Order of Omega, is available for pre-order right now on Amazon, and it will be released on Tuesday, November 8th, 2016. I am also now offering signed paperback copies of The Alpha Drive and soon The Order of Omega, so make sure to check out the description box below for more details. I recently reached 2,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Again, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed. You guys are truly amazing, and I really don't even have any words for how that makes me feel, so thank you. And I was going to do that 2K giveaway in this video. I have all of the names of the subscribers on my computer. I just have not printed them out and cut them up into their tiny little pieces because cutting 2,000 pieces of paper just seems like a really daunting task, and I had a busy week. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done in next week's video on October 4th, so stay tuned for that. I'm sorry I don't have it right now. It's just been a little bit crazy, but I promise we will get there. On a different note, I wanted to let you all know that I have teamed up with audible.com to give you guys some free stuff, because who doesn't love free stuff? Audible.com is the premier provider of digital audiobooks. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from. If you go to audibletrial.com/KristenMartinBooks, you can get a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial. I will leave that link down below, so make sure you go check it out. Also, during the month of October, I will be collaborating with some other YouTubers who are also writers to do some videos that will give advice for preparing for NaNoWriMo in November. If you are planning on participating in NaNoWriMo this November, and I am, we can be buddies, stay tuned for those videos because I think you will find them extremely helpful. I posted a vlog about a week ago when I went to Arizona on vacation, and I had mentioned in that vlog that my dad found some of my childhood stories. I also mentioned in that vlog that I had watched Jenna Moressi's YouTube videos where she read her childhood stories in front of everyone. I loved those videos. I thought it was a great idea, and so I had asked in my vlog if you guys wanted to see a video where I read my childhood stories. And just to give you a little sneak preview here, there were a lot of you that said you wanted to see this. Oh yes, and let me tell you, these are actually in book format. A Lizard's Friend is one of them. The Mystery of the Beanie Babies. My all-time favorite, Aliens Don't Take Gymnastics. And then I have this lovely notebook called Kristen's Book of Short Stories, where I have actually written, this one's called The Disappearing Santa. They're just front and back, and then along the sides I have illustrated in the margins. I have a whole pile sitting over there of other stories, but those were the ones that I remember writing when I was little, and I kind of went through them, and they're pretty hilarious. So if that is something that you want to see a video where I sit down and read my childhood stories, I might even pull my fiance in to read some of them with me, then please comment down below, like this video, let me know. I want to make sure that it's something you guys want to see before I film it, because if it's not, then it's probably a waste of time. And lastly, due to popular demand, I am now offering first chapter critiques through my website at KristenMartinBooks.com for $65 a pop. If this is something you are interested in, please head on over to my website and click on the tab that says First Chapter Critique to get more information and also fill out the form. As a side note, you must have a PayPal account, so please only submit the form once your PayPal account has been created and verified. And that's all that I have for you guys today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to win bookish goodies every month. I post new videos on Tuesdays. I will see you guys next time. Bye!